the deal. Back in action, man. I had to recoup for a minute. Back to do this east-west thingamajiggy with it was a special shout out to Big. You know, yesterday was his birthday, which caught me totally off guard. But it was crazy how I ended up. He definitely was in the building. Funny because I woke up yesterday, and then when first thing I did, first thing I do when I get up more. A lot of times I get up, and, you know what I'm saying, read or whatever. So I was like just normal day. I really wasn't even gonna speak again until another week or two or whatever. But I got up. I was reading this shit. Now this book is this book don't really have no index. It don't have no glossary or no shit like that or nothing really. It's just the information. Then in the back he got like some breakdowns showing you like how he got like stuff that's in the Bible, like verses that's in the Bible, and then he's showing you the where they come from in Kemet. He's showing you their source, how to find them in Kemet or whatever, or Egypt. But so when I started reading yesterday, I started reading, and some told me to look at the book and remember, look at the page and remember, because I just be turning the random pages. So some told me to look at the page and remember to see where I was at or whatnot. I'm trying to remember how to start certain things that I get out the book. I'm trying to remember how to go straight to what section they would be in, because it is hard to navigate this motherfucker. So, but anyway, so I looked down at the page and it was 88. Now mind this, before I even knew it was Big's birthday. So I'm let me read a little bit of this right here. Messer, Spencer, and Gillen have shown that this is ancient Egypt light of the world, by the way, have shown that up to the present time, the Arunta tribe of Central Australia do not ascribe the begettal of human soul to the male parent. And a soul is actually both masculine and feminine, but they think the male serves a purpose in preparing the way for conception, but they have not yet gone beyond the incorporation of a soul from the elements of the external nature, such as wind or water, that is, the power of air or water, which was imaged in the elemental deity. Spirit children derivable from the air are supposed to be especially fond of traveling in a whirlwind, and on seeing one of these approaching a native woman who does not wish to have a child, will flee as if for her life to avoid impregnation. The doctrine of a soul supposed to be incorporated from the elements is so ancient in Egypt as to have been almost lost sight of or concealed from the view beneath the mask of mythology. The doctrine, however, was Egyptian. The insufflation of the female by the spirit of air was the same when the goddess Neith was impregnated by the wind. With the Arunta tribes, it is the ordinary woman who is insufflated by the animistic soul of air. In Egypt, from the earliest monumental period, the female was represented mythically as the great mother Neith, whose totem, so to call it, was the white vulture, and this bird of maternity was said to be impregnated by the wind. Now, let me show you, I'm going to give you a few lessons in there. First and foremost, this is, okay, so I read from 88, and then right when I got to the last page that I was going to read, I read 7 pages. When I got I didn't know, but I was just reading randomly from 88 on down, and then when I got ready to stop, I made sure I looked at the page to see where I stopped at. and it was 94. 94, boom. So when I came back in, that's when I turned the radio and I heard it was Big Birthday and shit, right? So I said, ain't that something? I'm tripping. So I go listen to some Big. I go listen to Kick in the Door. I go listen to Life After Death. But I think I went straight to that song though. If I'm not mistaken. But I went to that song in particular. That's one of my favorite songs on there. So so you know what he got that nigga got he you know, I'm not thinking about what I read and shit yet, but he got the line of nigga when he say conscious of your nonsense in 88. So when he said the 88, that's when the book came to my mind. And I started thinking about what that part was about. I said, oh shit, that's what that whole page was about. Now, one thing about what I just read, one example, the lady running from the wind trying to get pregnant is the perfect example of how mythology or symbolism that was used to describe something as vast as the creation process, that information on the wrong ears can cause that person who doesn't quite understand what's being explained by that mythology to take it too literally. So what he's saying about that is, well, my interpretation of that is what she's running from, because you wouldn't run from the wind. If a woman, if you went outside on a windy day, you don't expect to come back in the house pregnant. But what they're talking about is this. What it is really is this. This is Neith. This is Neith, right? She's represented by the white vulture, but this is the dark side. This is the feminine energy, the weaver. Well, Neith would basically be, because Neith, needle, the weaver, so Neith would pretty much be like the process of this going up, because the light is what comes up and starts to weave the melanin or mold it, however you want to look at it. But the whirlwind shoe, this is the yin and the yang, right? Okay. So this will be the yang, this will be the yin, right? The yin will be the dark side. What would be the equivalent to the white drop? The white drop within that dark side of it, which is the yin, represents the minute presence, or the smaller presence of the that exists within the predominating darkness, right? This is what you're looking at right here, except for it's not a white dot. The white dot represents masculine energy. The masculine energy is also activeness within itself is also attribute to that category of the yang, or the yin, the yang, masculine energy, which is activity. So even though this is the dark side predominantly, which is stillness, because passiveness is of the dark side or whatever, or the feminine aspect or whatever, but the whirlwind within it is the activity that would be equivalent to the white dot within the darkness of the yang or whatever, of the yin. So the yang would be the white dot. It's just like you got the flip side. And down here, it's light, which falls under the masculine principle. But the light is still. It's so much of it compressed or whatever. It's still down here. It's not moving, so it's still light or whatnot. The stillness is the representative of the black drop that would be in the white yang had or whatever. That's one. But when it goes up, it turns into the bird Neith or whatever. And when the light comes up, it starts weaving. Neith, needle, neters. When you get the word neters, which is what the deities of Egypt would call, if you turn it on to an L, that's needle, net L, the net and the star the net that's created by the globe and shit, all that. But the impregnated whirlwind is the darkness that's already impregnated with the whirlwind. The air of the whirlwind causes the impregnation through this being pulled up by the air and this being sucked in just as solar-phallic energy. Just like when the egg cracks, when the sperm cracks the egg, within the egg is like a vacuum, so it pulls while the sperm is pushing, but the egg will be pulling the sperm inside of it or whatnot. Now you be like, what does this have to do with Biggie? Well, she has a baby on his first album cover. The fucking album starts off with him being born. Different phases of him being born, or him being born, then him going through different phases of his life, right? See how that line up with that right there? Let me read some more there. The kind of spirit not only entered the womb of Neith or the Arunta female, it also went out of the human body in the whirlwind. Now that whirlwind thing is a thing too. I'm gonna say some of this shit because I got my own whirlwind story. But I'm about to tell you about the shit with Lee and the storm, or the storm was pushed the R and shit on the thing or whatever, on the day, the anniversary day of me getting fucking falsely incarcerated and shit. Pac said lost in the whirlwind. Marcus Garvey said look for me in the whirlwind, or was quoted saying that. Then there's common knowledge just within the conscious communities or conscious people. A lot of the hurricanes and shit be coming from the they say a lot of hurricanes be coming from the middle passage or that part of the Atlantic or whatever, where the middle passage was there, where a lot of the slaves was overthrew. They said the spirits of those, all kind of shit. So the whirlwind thing, I just want to add that to throw that in there. But once when the great Fijian chief passed away, a whirlwind swept across the lagoon. An old man who saw it covered his mouth with his hand and said, in an awestruck whisper, "There goes the spirit." See, that kind of remind me of what Bobby went through when Mike passed. And he say they got a channel. After Mike passed, they got a channel and asked about their children shit. They said he absolutely did not touch no goddamn kids. But he said when he died, I had my experience too. Like I said, I had a real live out of body experience type shit where I seen some shit in a dream, and then I seen a building in a dream, and then about 2 weeks later when I was in jail, when I went out and I was doing the trustee shit, when I went out, I saw that same building. I never seen this place before. I ain't even from around parts or whatever. When I seen the building in real life, when I seen it, when we was riding through the little small town, I was looking, I said, man, I'm gonna be on the side of it. Well, I remember the building in my dream and where it looked in the front. I said, man, if it's a corridor type of shit in the front by the door type shit, I was like, it was a school, but I knew how to. I said, man, I know this. I know. I'm like, is this the building from my dream and shit? So when I'm like, man, I said, I know when I get to that front door, because the building was right here. I was right here going like this. I was like, I know when we get to that front door. I remember how that front door looked in my dreams. When I seen that motherfucker, I was like, oh shit. I saw this shit in the dream, because in the dream I was in the sky though. So it was like, it felt like I was the sun or in the sun or some shit like that. And looking at the building from a bird's eye view. And the thing just happened to be a school. See how they go? So, but I'm looking at the building from a bird's eye view like this here, the same way I was driving in that car. But I'm looking at the shit like this here. And then the last thing I remember was getting to the front of it and seeing the front of it. That's why when I saw it outside, that shit had something to do with Mike. It was all in that same period, that July when Mike passed and shit. But his experience was, and it's a fucking generator blew up or some shit. Hey man, this shit is real deal shit. That's what this shit would remind me of. It's talking about the Fiji chief. This was the passion of a soul and the likeness of an elemental power. The spirit of air that was imaged in the god of Shu. that was a pretty. I heard about that shit. So I heard of people who passed on, and some people will pass on, and it'll be fire. See, like, that's what Mike. Not a plan. Look at this shit. Yeah, this shit all coming together. Look, there it goes. That Mike must be working somewhere. Look at this shit. We'll get to that. But, this was the path. Okay, so all right. The spirit of air that was imaged in the garden, the spirit that impregnated the virgin goddess Neith, which Neith would be the darkness, the light would be the light, and the air would be the even with the word spirit. So spirit actually means breathing. The spiritus, when you go back to Latin, the word spirit comes from spiritus. Spiritus means the spiraling motion of air and breathing, spirit. But now when you think of spirit, you're thinking like a light or a ghost or some shit like that. Oh, I'm seeing them spirit. But it's the same thing. It is that, because the spirit the reason why, because when this goes up, the spiritus or the spinning air up here becomes one with the light. So the light becomes spirit as well. It's a spiraling light. So spirit, when you think of it in the sense of spirits and ghosts or spiritual type thing, as for a spirit and light, it's spiraling light. But I'm saying all this shit is lined up. I didn't even know it was his birthday. I'm slacking on my Mac and shit, because I was supposed to do something for his birthday. I did a video yesterday, but I didn't like the way it came out, but it was dope, because it was like I picked up the phone to see something, and the fucking phone said 420, no, it was 227 on the phone. That's the 227, the BIG thing, BG99. Yeah, it is a thing. But all this shit, and his mind, this is shit I'm reading before I even knew it was his birthday. And then it's his birthday. This shit is dealing with child pregnancy and shit. Then his album starts off with him being born or whatever. Now I'm not one of them niggas. Well, let me begin at this anyway. The doctrine is to quote the phrase. Hold on. It was only according to a mode of thinking and external things which belong to spiritualism, so to say, the animistic stage, the human soul had not then been specialized. It did not go forth from the body as the Ka or the human double. It was a totemic soul affiliated to the power of wind, which came and went like the wind as the breath of life. To quote the phrase employed by Mr. Spencer and Gilling, a spirit child was incarnated in the mother's womb by the spirit of air, the spiraling of the air. See? The doctrine is the same, the Christian phrase, when the Holy Spirit makes its descent on Mary and insufflates her with the dove for totem instead of some other type of breathing force or soul. The soul is represented as a bird, Horus, the hawk. It represents the rising of Kundalini, and the way to activate the soul is by the rising or the taking flight of the Kundalini as it uncoils from the base of your spine up to your pineal gland. You'll hear stories of Horus crushing the two serpents. If I say you should go all kind of them. Serpents are good, but even when you look at the serpent when it's coming out the forehead, it's representing Kundalini energy coming out of going up the back of the spine and hitting the pineal gland. But if it hits the pineal gland, say it's a serpent and it comes out the front. But when the part where it passes through the pineal gland is Horus, because it's the Inga and the Pingala that go up the spine of the circle or whatever. So that's the two serpents. When it hits the pineal gland catches it, but some of it still shoots through the front, which is represented by the cobra. And that's a crazy shit too, because I remember I was in jail. When I was in jail, I had Towel, the same color as this nigga, baby blue towel. That's the towel I used to have when I was in the county. I remember I had that bitch on my head. And I had to pull back like this, not on purpose. I'm trying to be Egyptian, no shit like that. I put the shit on my shit, and then when I looked, it looked like a pharaoh, the crown of the pharaoh and shit. So this is before I even got to the penitentiary, start reading on Kemet and all that shit too. But it was the same color as that baby blue right there. But the crushing of the two snakes, that's the pineal gland grabbing the energy when it comes up. And then so when you ever see when they grab snakes, they grab them on the back of the neck. If you was to look at the way it looks, the pineal gland would have, if this is the cobra head coming out, the pineal gland would be where the neck of the snake would be at, like it's clutching it. So that's one of the things that symbolism represents. But this is likewise the survival of primitive doctrine when the Virgin Mary is portrayed in the act of inhaling the fragrance of the lily to procure the mystical conception of the Holy Child. This is the lily, or the perfume, or the cologne. What is it? The fragrance of the lily. This is the fragrance of the lily. This will be this goes up. This will be inhaling or sniffing the fragrance as if it was a nose or whatever. Cologne, alcohol, spirits, alcohol and cologne and shit. Alcohol, spirits. We also learn from the Runta tribe that it's custom for the mother to affiliate her child thus incorporated to the particular elemental power, as spirit of air, water, tree, or earth is supposed to haunt a spot where she conceived or may have quickened. Thus, the spirit child is or may be a reincorporation of the Alcharinga ancestor who was an elemental power divinized in the eschatology and who was to be identified by the transformed identified by the animal or plant, which is the totemic type of either. Not that the animal or plant was supposed by the knowers to be transformed directly into a human being with the elemental power or superhuman spirit entered like the surrounding like the gust the wind gust, but the gust, the air that insufflated the vulture of Neith, or caused conception, whether in the Arunta female or the Virgin Mary. The surroundings at the spot will determine the total of the spirit and therefore the spirit child. Hence the tradition of the Chiringa Nanga being dropped at the place where the mother was impregnated by the totemic spirit, which considered the sacred nature of the Chiringa was certainly a form of the Holy Spirit. And if you listen close, you can hear big. The spirit of air rushed out of the conceived, and by such means the child affiliated to the elemental power. The animistic spirit, the Alcharinga ancestor, as well as the totemic group, the mother caught by power of wind in the gap equivalent of the divine Neith, caught by the air god Shu and insufflated in the gorge of Neith. The element of life is incorporated in the source of breath, or spirit of air, which would have the same natural origin, whether it's the female in her human form or in that of a bird, beast, fish, or reptile. It was the incorporation of an elemental spirit, whether of air, earth, water, fire, or vegetation. All right, so it was something else over here. Okay, now, mind you, when I went back after I went back and I had the book open 88. I just saw me look at the other page, 89. Let me show you what I saw. After I found out it was Big birthday and all that, I went back. I ain't read the whole thing out, everything all over, but I think I had the page open somewhere. I just had to look on 89. And it said she was fat and well, this is what I saw when I looked over. She was fat and well favored, this part. And the spirit child overtook her and was incorporated willy-nilly. The willingness. And that's some other shit. The day look, I got it wrote on my notes, but I didn't go into detail. But the way from the notes, what it's looking like what happened. Because I was trying, the hat, my lumberjack came. I think it came on the same day I was reading on Odysseus, which is like a Greek god, some Odysseus or whatever. And when they was describing him, they were saying he was the williest. I need to look that up. I don't know why I ain't did that yet. But see, that's why Big was such a, we lost a great one, because that nigga was an example of, not the only, but he was a nigga. What I liked about him, one thing I can relate to about him is, I can tell, and I'm not knocking nobody who dropped out of school or didn't pay attention to school and shit, whatever. He probably, I don't know if the nigga even graduated, if he ever graduated, but I know this nigga was paying attention. He's a literary MC. Like, this goes out the truth. You can tell just by the way his grammatical setup, that nigga was paying attention in English class and all that shit, which is good, because that shit is that's a part of the liberal arts. What they call that shit? It's a word for it. Was it rhetoric? Not rhetoric. I can't think of the name right now. But that's the type of shit that's missing. Niggas is like incorporating intelligence in their fucking flows and shit. Like, let a nigga say, well, anyway, but yeah, that's what this shit used to be about when I was growing up. Hearing shit and learning shit as well. But you have to be in the business if you want to know shit or about education as well. So this nigga, he lying to say a word. A fist fight would be asinine. You just pop nines out. What he say? You just pop wine. I must pop nines. Nozzle in your grill piece. That asinine. I don't think that was a bit. I think he was talking to Paco. What it was, he was talking to Paco. But asinine. I think that rhyme is how I found out. Before I went and looked. I think. Or did I know that before? I think I knew, because I used to always read the dictionary too. So but I wouldn't be surprised if he introduced me to that word. But even if he didn't, the point I'm trying to make is that's how this shit was when we were growing up. It didn't mean a nigga was, like my little cousin, we was talking to some dude one day, and she was like, how my cousin just sit in the house and read books all day. I was like, no sir. But she thinks, and she not saying that. She wasn't saying that based off of something she saw, because she never. I think she did come stay with us for a minute when I was young, but I didn't do that. That was never me. Especially back then. But I think she just basically just going out for knowing I'm into the business of education and shit. I think she probably see some stuff I post on Facebook or whatever. So she knew I was about knowledge, but I think in her mind, just like a lot of other people, usually you would think a smart person or somebody that's intelligent is somebody that's always tucked out reading a book somewhere. And it's like, now, that ain't the case with me. Like, I'm actually reading more now than the past year or two. My reading stepped up as far as how much I read. Because in jail, like I said, I always read, but it was like, I can go longer distance now. I think a lot of that shit has to do with when I stopped eating that sugar and shit. It's like my attention span is a little bit better now. Which probably one of the reasons why seeing what page I stopped eating shit. Well, when I was looking at how I watched, okay. Now when I get behind shit, I can sit here and focus and read for 2 hours straight. And eyes and shit be watering and shit. But it's on a sober level, especially when I was eating sugar and shit. And like I said, that shit go back to what I hate to always have to keep leaning about, but I can't. And nigga Bobby telling this story about them kids who they were having behavior problems in school. And the holistic doctor told them, took them off the sugar, said take them off the sugar. And they said they took them off the sugar and them motherfuckers became model students.
I can see that happening. Just now, with me, I'm not a behavior problem student, no shit like that. But that whatever that sugar be doing and shit, it makes us easily distracted. That's probably where that ADHD type shit come from, whatever. The fucking sugar or whatever. So when you a kid, you eat sugar and shit, they tell you, focus and read. You trying to read, whatever, you don't want to read, you want to do this, that, fuck with this person, throw spitballs and shit, woo, woo. All that shit, then we have to start putting this shit together, man. Like I said about that diet shit, with the word diet, when you look at that word, it's like that's what the fuck American society and system leaders I've been alive and shit. The food is a diet. Body, diet, D-I-E-T, the diet, T means the body, the physical. That's what the cross symbolizes. It symbolizes the body. And you put diet on front of it and then say, here, this is your diet. You got the diet, when you look at it as far as, what you can look at it as a form of diet, because when you want to die and you stop eating as much, you stop eating less or whatever. You stop feeding yourself as much. But then really, the real way you want to look at it is, you say, well, what's the American diet or the diet? Well, the way we eat in America can kill you if you're not safe. Or I could, whether it be totally kill you or give you health problems, shit, kill your health, dieting. So, yeah, man, that's just some shit to look into. But, and like I said, when I stopped, okay, so I was telling you about the mic shit, right? Now, this is on 89 too. I read this before when I was at the mic joint, but I read it again. All this shit around up. I was talking about the fire and shit with the mic. Yeah, this is off the top of the dome. I hadn't even plan on speaking about the mic, really. But dig this. It said the several elements led naturally to the various origins ascribed to man from the ideographic representatives of earth, water, air, fire, such as the beast of earth, the turtle or fish of water, the bird of air, the tree or the stone. The Samoans have a tradition that the first man issued from a stone. His name was Mauk. Maui Ike. That's damn near Mike. Mauk. And you take the A-U out, you got the mic right there, but the Mauk, you see that shit? And he is also proved to be the discoverer of fire. Now, the discoverer of fire, born of a stone, evidently represents the element of fire which had been found in a stone, the element of the animistic spirit of fire, to which the stone was the body, that served as a type. The derivation of a soul of life, the element of fire, or from the spark, is likewise traceable in the legend of the Arunta, who thus explained the origin of the fire totem. A spark of fire in the Alsharinga was blown by the representative by Mount Hay. Here it fell to earth and caused a huge conflagration. When subsided, one class of inaptor creatures issued from the ashes. These were the ancestors of the people of the fire totem, the people born from the element of fire. The tradition enables us to identify the origin of children born of fire. See, that's why I really want to look up. I need to look up left fire. See what her sign is. I know she's a Gemini. Her birthday coming up next Tuesday, I think. And it's just perfectly blending in, because she's definitely connected to fire. That hurt the kid shit, hurt Katit. That ain't no disrespect to my boy Dre. I know he was on the wrong end of the fire bug-ism. It's just not I don't want to make it look like I'm making fun of what happening on his side of things or whatever. But I say, because I got a fire, my sign not a fire, I'm an earth sign, but like I said, we all this shit. So you have to, that's why I get caught in one thing, you miss other stuff, other parts about yourself. So it's cool to be whatever sign you are, but once you get egotistical with it, you the only thing you care about is their sign, and not understanding that you supposed to be the motherfucker in the middle of all 12, but they supposed to all be a part of you predominantly, just like you masculine and feminine, but you predominantly whatever you are, whether you female or male. Same thing with the zodiac sign. Yeah, Big is a Gemini, but that's the sign he predominantly is, that's the sign he came through. But he has to partake, or you have to see all the parts of him, which would mean you would be not just like I'm an earth sign, but by partaking about 12, I'm earth, wind, water, and fire. So I gotta see fire. Shit didn't happen to me with fire. Shit didn't happen with water, air, and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I can show you the shit. But now this shit here gonna, you think it's a game. Well, I'm gonna show you niggas something. Watch. I'm gonna show you the elements, boy. Earth, wind, and fire. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, man. Then the part where I stopped reading was 9/4. But I say 9/4, two things happened. Pac got shot 9/4. Biggie album came out 9/4. Now, one thing I be having a problem with is like all these years, people never correct people. You hardly ever. They usually just let the shit rock. But I be seeing a lot of people like, oh, well, Big dropped, who shot you? Right when Pac got killed. I mean, when Pac got shot. And it was like, or after. They be saying it as if the song came out after. I seen people saying this. I'm like, no, the song was on the Ready to Die album. He dropped that album before Pac even got shot at Quad Studios or whatever. I be having a problem with that, because I be like, man, somebody, because I remember when people start factoring that shit in after all the hoopla went down, I, as a just regular everyday hip hop fan, I'm sitting here looking at this shit now. I know motherfucking well. I didn't buy no B-side and Who Shot You was on none of that shit. I ain't buy no B-side, I bought the album. That's how I was introduced to the song Who Shot You. And that song, that album came out before Pac got shot. So in my mind, I'm looking at you, I'm like, why ain't nobody never really, speak on this shit and correct this shit. Motherfuckers be in the middle of interviews, and I bet them now one of these niggas know. I know you gotta know, because we got Google and all this shit. Don't nobody, I don't know, bro. It just be a bunch of messy shit be going on with this shit, man. At least in my opinion. But 9/4. What that was? 9/4. So that was what, my 5th grade year. Yeah. At the same time, around the time when Selena died or whatever. Which is funny because I got a beat that's on some big shit, but it got a throw beat. This shit sound like some, man, it's one of them beats. That's why I like making. I love this music shit, man. Cause it's like now I'm making shit. Like I'm making songs that if somebody else would have made them, I would have heard shit I would love. Like this shit, I got shit that sound like this shit sound like Saturday in a Bottle or some shit. A Saturday Night in a Bottle. It got a little Hispanic vibe. This shit is throw, but then it got some big shit to it. I ain't gonna go too far in detail, but this shit is a dope. And the pen just floated that motherfucker. So it's like, yeah, man. But that's how I got some more. I got another joint. I gotta go back to that though. I've been sleeping on that motherfucker a little bit, but I gotta go back to it. I got another one. Them niggas be coming through actually inspiring, man. You tap into these guys, light a candle and pour that boy some Jamaican rum or something, or with a picture and shit. Put a picture of some type of Jamaican rum, light a cigar or some shit. Getting the vibe and you doing your music shit, but now you gotta know how to manipulate. We ain't talking about a nigga just getting on the mic. You sound just like a nigga. It's like, the niggas come through this fire, but you can, like I said with the beats and shit, you will hear the shit. Like, I don't want to get too much to beat making this shit yet, but yeah. trying to pick up the pace on this shit so I can eventually start shit selling these motherfuckers too. But I can, I got the juice, man. When it comes to that shit, I can that deep. And I'm just beginning. And that's even without the damn. I still ain't even got no drum machine and shit, but and no keyboard. But I'm getting iller with this shit. But I ain't gonna get lazy and just. Some people do that. I just shit say like, nah, I'm gonna still go and get this shit. I'll really spice it up. But yeah, but yeah, so but yeah, man, and then so like I said, man, then it's crazy because like I say, my mom used to always call me Papa since I was a little baby boy. And then the nigga here got the name he come out with the Big Papa later on down life. I was like, damn, this nigga here, we got the same nicknames and shit. My mom used to always call me that shit. But then like I say, got the baby on the front of the cover. That's the Baby Horace thing or whatever. I'm not sure if it was him as a baby or they just put a baby on there, but so that goes another baby thing or whatever. So it's like it's all like lining up. The nigga named Christopher Christ. That's got the Christ in it or whatever. Yeah, man. So but another thing I was thinking about was to take it back to the Peterson Museum thing. Now, mind you, by now you should be able to see this nigga is really this nigga. You should be able to even just see him through the shit I'm doing. But the Peterson Museum thing, man, when they cause like I said, it's crazy how I all of a sudden I'm reading about Peter, what that means on a more of a metaphorical level or whatever, or the symbolism level. And I get to the Peter Sif thing, which Sif means son, and then the whole while I'm in the middle of doing the whole East meets West thing, and this nigga dies at the Peterson Museum on the West. So they both died on the West. That's Osirian, the Westerner or whatnot. Especially with the Pac thing, because with Pac, he was in Vegas. Vegas is a magical city within itself. So, but I just had issues with that, man. Like I said, that man out there just had the accident, so his leg was fucked up. They had a party, and then he did now this like I said, it's just too much shit that just makes no sense, man. The man's leg fucked up. He had a party with a bum knee or with a fucked up leg. You gotta be on a walker or crutches and shit. That ain't the place to be, not no party, especially when you in a potential violent environment or potential you somewhere where these people that pretty much stirred up this East Coast, West Coast shit. You on the opposite side, not necessarily having a beef with the whole coast personally, but the climate that they narrated this shit into is one of bullshit. And who the fuck? Anyway, but I'm looking at this shit, I'm like, man. And it all come back to like I say, this shit is all, it says everything is staying in the same little area. Now, and both sides, Bad Boy and Death Row, both at the end of the day are backed by Jewish people. Am I wrong? They have to follow, that way ever heard the phrase, follow the money, follow them niggas. Who's funding all this shit? Because who's funding this shit is the one that say, hey, you be over here, go there, do that. You got a video shoot over here and all this shit. Big trying to get the big. That's what I'm saying. See, that go back to what I was saying about when we was growing up, we call crack cheese. When you talk about cheese or you talk about money, it's cheese too, right? Well, what they using to draw these niggas in with? Cheese. Like rat traps. Not to say, I'm not trying to call these guys rats or artists rats or whatever, but I'm saying, like literally, but I'm saying that's probably where the phrase cheese in regards to money came from. Motherfuckers use this shit as rat traps or traps to bait you in. Like I said with Pop, how you get shot. Big total nigga don't fuck with the niggas, he go try to get some money or whatever. Get fucked up. Think that would be trying to get in the music industry. Both from period. Same industry that they went to try to make their dreams come true ended up being a nightmare, so many words. And so what part does all these the people who put the money behind? You don't ever see, so you don't ever hear about that. All you hear is Suge and this, that, them niggas went over here and who wild him and all this. You hear about the niggas, but you don't never hear about the motherfuckers in the background. The paper gangsters and shit. You see how I'm saying? Everybody talking and shit now. Yeah, I think it was this one and now whoop whammy. I don't know it, but nobody want to go deep enough and say, well, what about them guys that's funding all of this malarkey? That's the motherfuckers you need to really be looking at. When it's bi-coastal shit, that's the common denominator between all this shit. And then I don't understand why he would even go out there and diss. I think the long kiss goodnight. I don't even know why he would even go out there and do that. It just didn't make no sense. The leg already messed up, and you go out there and do just something to think about it. I'm not even criticizing. I'm just saying it's critical, but I'm saying this for you to think about the shit. Why go out? One, the leg already fucked up. I don't know if that was the same trip or he came back or what, but if that, especially if that was the same trip, why would you go and do the song that you was dissing Big Pac on after he already made, especially after he already made the transition? Now, me personally, I consider people's, I wouldn't do no shit like that. Not like with Charles Manson is different. See, shit like that, I don't have no problem. I'll take you pop a bottle on me, because this is a motherfucker who, if he had his way, we'd be picking cotton again. You're supposed to celebrate a motherfucker like that when he fall off the fucking wagon or whatever. I don't give a fuck. But just nigga shit and beef and all this other shit, like, I'm like, man, look that. Once a nigga make a transition, bro, you know, I don't want to put no. Even if I did have a diss song, even if nigga did get me, be everybody different though. And I say that's the thing about Big. I don't think Pac would have did it to him, but it goes to show you. And I'm not seeming like criticizing because he had to, you know, that corn too. Pac said what he said, did what he did, and he made the transition. But this man still was like, ass fucked up, you know, woo, feeling a certain type of way probably, or felt like, well, shit. I never got my get back in it all, so I'm gonna release my shit regardless. However he felt. I personally wouldn't do no shit. I feel like that's in poor taste, personally, my humble opinion. But this is the man that's what I'm saying. That's that north side. This is the man that he told you. Lights get dimmer down Biggie's hallway. My forte causes Caucasians to say, this kid's demented, caught weed scented. If I said it, I meant it. Bite my tongue with no one. Call me evil or unbelievable. that's a demonstration of what I was telling you about the light and the dark side. Listen, I personally feel like if that would have power, would have been like, nah, I ain't gonna drop that song or pull it off the album. And I still, if I wouldn't have let that shit, even, if he would have stayed alive and said, man, I want to keep it on the album, I'd be like, man, that's you. But you know that's inflammatory. You know, like I said, the man got family left still, friends, and fans, just like him, and vice versa. So it's like, you know, you don't want to be that guy. I wouldn't, but everybody different. He might be like, man, fuck that shit. This nigga went too hard on me, bro. You know. And I seen other guys who wasn't even that entangled with Pac. We always heard these niggas come and take shots at the man after he passed away and shit. That shit it ain't clear to me. I just, you know. But everybody got their own way of going about, you know, warfare, whatever. But I don't think these were smart moves being made, you know. Because even if nothing didn't pop off with him, what if something else popped off? Just a fight period in that bitch. And they got Roddy in that motherfucker. You got to get him out of there with the crutches and shit, or the walker and all this shit. Some shit you supposed to be like, nah, man, heal up. Can a nigga heal? God damn. See, that's one thing you have to think of this shit in these terms. Like, that shit, man, you supposed to be like, nah, bro, heal up, and then we'll get back to the business, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You know, that's just my take on it, man. This is I just feel like it was a lot of smart moves made, man, and you know, but I think him and Pac, like I said, I think a lot. This is just my take on it. Like I said, I ain't there. I wasn't rolling them circles and no shit like that. But I think they didn't want to see. But I ain't gonna say that. Like I say, man, that Quad Studio shit is what set everything out. Really, it already was tension between the East and the West because the East always be fronting on everybody and shit. Was used to from the West Coast or whatever. So, like I said, I hadn't heard niggas speaking on this shit before Pac even started going crazy about the East Coast, West Coast shit. But it wasn't nothing. You know, these niggas on two different coasts. It ain't never that shit was a number some rap shit. Really, just you niggas don't respect our skills out here. We grew up listening to y'all niggas. Y'all don't show no love, woo, whatever. You know, but that shit was more so of some behind the scenes shit. Yeah, that's why I always tell you, like the magazines and shit pumped it up or whatever. Even Pac said it. If the magazines would be sending this shit to playing off the shit, maybe it wouldn't be as bad as it. And this is just stupid shit. Just another way. Yeah, like I say, every other genre you can go in that shit, make money, become legendary, and it's all good. And our shit, it has to be a blood sport. Somebody gotta die, and this one is the new one, and all this this rap is a competitive nature. It's competitive by nature. Hip hop is competitive by nature. Graffiti artists go against graffiti artists. Break dancers go against break dancers. DJs battle, MCs battle, or whatever. But when you start adding this shit to it, and when this shit started, niggas start getting shot and don't forget, this is like the first time some shit like this ever happened here. Quite sure you had a little shit here and there in the tux, but for on a big level, this is the first, this shit really just, now niggas get shot every other motherfucking day and shit. But this was like the impetus to all this, the starter kit. So what they meant, I think we might have been a little bit, shit was happening too after that, but I think we were a little bit smarter than this last couple years of niggas, because it's like they finally got a generation of niggas that like, we can really crash niggas the fuck out and put life insurance on them and shit. This shit is wild, bro. And then the thing, I have to go back on some shit too. I was talking about the suing with like suing the estate for the bread and shit. But the estate don't even be owned. So yeah, fuck that shit. Whatever. I wouldn't fuck with a nigga family about no bread that was owed to me after he passed. But then when you start talking about the estates and shit, yeah, because how the fuck does a lot of times, I don't know whose estate is in whose hand, but I know a lot of times the estate don't even be in the fucking family's hand. It be some other shit. So what the fuck is that about? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's just too slavery looking, like, with the industry shit. It's too much slave shit that go on. And it's like, you know, how you own my shit, my family don't even, how you got more say so of my shit than my family and shit. That's crazy in the motherfucker. There's just too many, and then when I look at what this shit really is, now I'm getting a clear, total, I've been known for years, but as a youngster, trying to thinking about a record deal and all this shit, the old standard way of getting into the music industry. Now when I look back at this shit from a street nigga perspective, I'm like, hold up. Yeah, this wouldn't have really, I'm not sure how cool this would have worked out for me, because I'm not a consignment type of nigga. And that's all this shit is. Consignment, you know what the fuck I mean? Consignment is getting in front of some shit. Okay, you gonna sell this for me. I've never been that nigga. I always been pay for my shit, get my shit, and cut ties until the next time we do business. I don't need you to breathe down my nigga. You got my money yet? I've never been that. I ain't in that type of scenario. So that's what the fucking music industry is, consignment, basically. We gonna give you all this shit and you gotta make it back with your music and, you know, hope this shit sell, or you'll be in the hole, and yeah. So I probably would have been turned off by that once I got to start reading contracts and understanding how shit goes. Like, that's a fucking nifty price right there, buddy. You know, I don't want to be in, you know, owe you that much shit. The nigga he working for these motherfuckers, trying to work this shit off, and yeah, it's just a dirty game. Shitty deals and shenanigans bananas. A fan of night law. You know. Who knows, maybe I would have been better than the average better, because for one, I always had the business approach. Fuck all them trinkets. Let's talk about the money. I don't know what you're trying to blind me with. What does this shit mean? What's the equal mean? Give me that dictionary over there. Fuck all of them. Well, you know, we got some bubbly over there. I like to read literature. But finance, music industry and literature. Fuck you with your fucking Bentleys and shit. You want to change? We'll get to that. Let me read this first. No, sir, I don't want that. God, we gotta talk before later. I don't need those kind of, you know, you in them. That's how you know it's dirty. Look, that's how you know they walking up the shit too. They giving you gifts and shit that you gotta eventually pay back. And then when it's time to pay them back, they tell you what you gotta pay back. Well, you owe it. They might charge you. They might have gave you a car. That motherfucker might have been $100,000. Really, they might have got it for $100,000. And now when it's time for you to pay this shit back, you $500,000 in the hole and shit. These people play. I know probably somebody out there. He ain't bullshitting. I bet you. Nigga marked up ass shit. Oh, you remember that diamond chain with your label on it? Hell yeah. That one was like 2.5. What? I was like, yeah, no gifts here, buddy. Well, tiny top, what? Treacherous bastards. That's what I don't be giving a fuck, man. Straight up. You know. Yeah, man. Come on, man. They siphoning a nigga magical powers. They translation your talent. And using this shit to shapeshift thought forms in the world. That's why I always tell niggas it's good to have some of your fucking mind So yeah, you doing hip hop and whoop. And they can say they want to say about the music. When you sit in front of them fucking people and talk, you have the ability to make change through. Yeah, you gotta be a punk ass nigga. All scared. Have some courage about yourself. That's what the street bravado shit is about. Yeah. Well, have some fucking intelligence about yourself. Have some restraint about yourself, bro. We'll have to be able to teach these niggas more than just what you giving them through the music. Cause you just straight up throwing out there, nigga. You popping perks and smoking them, killing niggas. And that's all you raise in the next generation. But you have to have the other side. Like, nah, man, it ain't about this. But this is how you do this. This is why when you have to be able to break this shit down, bro. But yeah, man, I just want to wish my nigga a happy B-Day, man. The late, great Frank Wither. Man, I'm going to leave y'all on that one, man. I'll catch you boys later on down the line. So, well, man. So peace, love, and have grease. Niggas be light.